What's going on, Internet? If you're anything like me, you spend a lot of time triggering drum samples in GarageBand. For the past 3 years, I've done this in the old version of GarageBand because it had the sound effects tab where you could load your own samples into the musical typing, and it was just a really easy to use, super clean, no hassle sampler. Unfortunately, they removed this feature in the current version of GarageBand. It's been replaced with the AU sampler, which I don't like all that much. I don't know if you guys have messed around with it and had good results, but for me it crashes a lot, it seems cumbersome, just don't really like it. So after bumming around the internet for a while, I found a really good solution for triggering your samples in GarageBand. For this video, we're going to be using the CWI Tech TX16WX sampler. Let's check it out. Alright, so when it comes to loading audio unit plugins into your GarageBand, first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you are displaying all your discs on your desktop. And this is real easy to do if you haven't already done it. You go over to your Finder Preferences, make sure you're in the General tab, then you're going to tick hard disks, external disks, CDs and DVDs. This is good if you do anything that's a little more involved with your computer. So next thing we're going to do, so we've got our example.component. It's just a text file, but any audio plugins that you download that don't have a built-in installer will have this .component tag to them. So you're going to click Macintosh HD. We're going to go to the library. We're going to go over to audio. We're going to go down to plugins. Next, we're going to click on components. And as you can see, I have a whole crap ton of these guys. So once you get to this location on your hard drive, just take your component file and drop it in there. All right, now that we got our software sampler loaded up, it's time to throw it into GarageBand. So for this, we're going to head down to the plugins menu. We're going to head over to the instrument track, where the instrument section where we're going to insert our sampler. And because usually I'm using this with drums, I generally run it in mono. So bring this guy up here. And what you're going to see first is this new program thing. This is where you would name your kit or whatever you want to sample. We'll call this test kit. All right, so once you do that, you're going to want to head over to the file browser. It's a pretty basic file browser. You're going to see your hard drive, and in this case, my external drive, which we're going to use. If you ever, you're going through the various layers of the files, if you ever want to go back, you can just hit this button up here. It's going to bring you back. So for me, I'm going to go down to my plugins and samples folder. Then we're going to head down to, here we'll use these kick drums as a sample or as a test. Next thing you want to do is you can either pull them in one by one, or you can do shift, right? You can do a little shift click there, highlight all the samples, and then move them into the sampler. Usually I like to start stuff on C1. And so now, there they are, they're in your program. All right, another few things to note. In this sound control section, you actually have a lot of control over how you want to sculpt your sound. With the drums, I usually don't mess with attack and decay too much. Obviously, you want a quick attack, so it's on time. However, super important, turn this release, I don't know, you don't have to crank it all the way out, but you definitely don't want it on 0. Otherwise, you're going to get that dead giveaway with MIDI drums where tick, 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 it sounds really choppy because, the snares and the cymbals not sustaining. So here we'll probably, you might not be able to hear it unless you're listening on good speakers, but there's a little more decay when I have that release up, and that's what you want, make your drums sound natural. Volume, I don't know, depending on what your samples, what kind of level they're recorded at, you might consider jumping this up a little bit just so you don't have to, it's one less step when you start mixing. To the right here, there's a pretty useful built-in filter. This thing has high pass, low pass, band pass, you name it. I don't really use it that much because I do a lot of the effects and mixing, filtering, any of that. That's usually, in mixing. I don't do that in the plugin. But if you want to, it's there. It's there. Right? Yeah, that would probably be good if you were, I don't know, maybe working with more EDM drums. For me personally, I just use this plugin to trigger the raw drum sounds. I don't really like to mess with the tones that much. Alright, so the final step would be to save these plugins using Save As in the GarageBand menu. So you can pretty much go and recall your settings whenever you want. For instance, here's my sample kit that I use for more heavy related music. As you can see, it's a little more involved than the last kit, and I can call up another kit. drum kit, but you get the idea. That's, really the basic way to do it. And from there on out, you'll be able to trigger your own drums in GarageBand.